So I want to start by saying I couldn't sleep today, so I was able to make like this show. And when he did the video, I was actually able to tune in live, and it was really cool because I miss these things because I sleep during the day because of my job. So um, when Lex was describing this land, and like the was it the plant that gives extends life and things of that nature, I realized I got it wrong. Okay, um, what I mean by that was where was it? This video? No, where is it? All right, in this video, I got it wrong. I immediately forgot all about the west coast of the United States and just went right to China and tried to see if it fit over there. Don't know why. It was obvious. Because like if this was the promised land over here, right, then that couldn't have been the promised land over there. This was the land where you were supposed to be put to observe the Most High's laws, traditions, and customs. While, and it said right there, and I just can't believe I missed that. So it made total sense. From the plant that, extends life, what do you use peyote for, right? For healing and psychedelics. From the land with the desert, what we read in Deuteronomy 28 or 29, was it 22 through 27, that it was supposed to, what the Most High was going to do to the land was turn it into brimstone. He was going to make hot spots of hot salt on the land, that he was going to make it to where no vegetation could grow there, no food could grow there, right? Well, you have all those places. Just go and watch old Western movies if you don't live there. Talk to somebody that lives there out west. You see it. I can't believe I forgot it. Because I just watched videos on the Pima Hohokam Indians, and those guys explaining something happened out here, looked like some type of war went on. They believe there's a drawing of Moses, and battling things in the sky, and with nuclear capabilities and things of that nature. I remember Lex with the Passover, him explaining the stones they had found out there. Arthur Scott Jr. and his brother and his fiance, his wife, when they were out there, the things that they seen. His fiance, wife, they were the same woman. I don't mean to make it sound like he had two different ones out there, but the rocks and things that they were discovering, the soil that he couldn't touch or step on, things of that nature. So I just want to say I got it wrong. It was so obvious. I can't believe it. I don't know why I got it wrong. I don't know why I just went right over there. But now it makes me happy to know we know the name of what the land is supposed to be called out there. We know that the name of that territory is beyond the Great River. So, but this is something I wanted to do, and I try to space these out because I don't like to make videos like this when they're so close to, when someone else releases them, because I don't want to feel like I don't want to give the illusion that I'm trying to latch on. It's not that. It's like when you're listening and you hear it, there it is. It's the answer to the question you've had, and I try to put it out there before I forget, because who knows how long, maybe a year, however long it is until the next time I remember this. But it was when Lex Will just did his video about the fomorians, right? In the treaty with monsters. Something he said as he was reading, I was like, I know where that is. I know what that is. For sure. All right, so here it is. Let me see.
Then came Nemd and his followers. Ireland is said to have been empty for 30 years following the death of Partholon's people. But Nemd and his followers encountered the Fomorians when they arrived. At this point, Seitan reports another tradition that the Fomorians were seafarers from the Middle East, descended from Ham, son of Noah.
That's what it was. Descendants from Ham, son of Noah. I'm like, oh, I recognize that. Watch this. Tibetan mask and Cham dance festival. Remember, when we're reading the Catholic Bible, it doesn't call ham. It says that ham is Cham. And I was wondering, were they doing these to mock us because of this one image that, that's one of them. Because I thought maybe this is the king of the Angkor Wat, right? Then the story that the king of the Angkor Wat married the Chinese princess, and then they were driven out of their land and stuff like that. There was one mask. Where is it? This mask. I thought they were doing it to mock us. Because you see that right there. That is Negro. The hair, the nose, that's Negro. Watch this though. Let's look. And all right, the good stuff is going to be the answers to what I'm looking for is right here. But I want to, make sure we cover all this before we get there. Let's see.
The art of Tibetan masks forms part of the traditions of Tibetan culture and is steeped in history. The masks, which are traditionally used in Buddhist festivals, and date back to before the 6th century.
Now remember, Buddhism is like Christianity in the sense that there are a lot of sets. I mean, it's not just Christianity, it's just Islam's got it too. There's a lot of sets of Buddhism. From what I understand, I think there's 3 or 4. The Buddhism we see today was the Buddhism that was taken and created by, if I remember correctly, it was King Kanushka of the Kushan Empire. When the Greeks or the Japanese, whichever one, they used what I'm learning about it, they used the Greek and Japanese interchangeable. All right, one of them, let's just say the Greeks, led the King Kanushka and his army through these certain places of Asia, where they knew that melanated people were, and they took them down. They took their writings, they took their history, took it back to Afghanistan, and King Kanushka had them rewrite this. If I remember correctly, the original writing of the Buddhists was that Pile language. It was the writing that was found, the Buddhist writings that are found with the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? I mean, everyone knows the Dead Sea Scrolls, they were found, but they don't, because it doesn't further Christianity. But there was Buddhist writings with the Dead Sea Scrolls there. Why? It's because I think that Buddhism and how would you say that? There's so many similarities of the Buddhism that what's his name, Godfrey Higgins describes to Judah. Just the fact that the math, they both practice calculus, they study the stars and things of that nature. Anyways, so King Kanushka, they rewrote them. They put a caste system in place. If you're light or pale skinned, you were on top, because King Kanushka was pale, freckled, red hair. So it was basically the image of him, right? If you were pale, you were on top. If you were dark skinned, you were on bottom. You were the untouchables, the unwanted. They changed the language from Pile to Sanskrit and go on and so forth. So when they say Buddhism, I have to think, which one are they using? Because even the last Buddhist, the last Black Buddha of Japan used a different Buddhism. I can't think of the name of it. It's not Mahayana, I think, because I think that's the one that the Japanese are using now, which is different. Anyways, let's see the significance of the mask, right? And
Significance of Tibetan masks. Tibetan masks often embody the wrathful deities of Tibetan Buddhism, and are meant to drive fear and terror into the hearts of the forces of evil. They are also meant to provide tranquility and calm to Buddhists seeking enlightenment through prayer and meditation. In Tibet today, there are masks held in the monasteries that have survived since the early days of Tibetan Buddhism. These older masks are venerated and are considered to be very powerful. And the faithful often make pilgrimages to worship in front of them, especially on religious festivals and special days.
so that just sounds like a good excuse that they would use as to what they would tell foreigners that would come to see them, because they actually give it away further down what what they got these the ideas for these from. So that was what they would sound like. They would just tell someone wanting to come watch this. It was the reason why they have them. Let's see, to ward off evil. Okay.
The masks are designed and decorated to scare off evil emanations and influences that can distract a Buddhist from their deep prayer and meditation. The more terrifying the mask is, the more effective it is in protecting the worshipper. These so-called devil masks are the faces of the wrathful protector deities who have a duty to save the faithful from harm.
Now, you hear that? Deities that are supposed to keep the faithful from harm, right? Now remember that, because they're going to later on tell you something totally opposite, contradicting that, right? Let's see.
Historical records show that the masks originated in around the 6th century AD. In the ancient Tubo kingdom, Bonpo dances were already taking place, with the dancers wearing animal masks. In the time of Songtsen Gampo, around the 7th century, grand ceremonies featured dances with masks depicting lions, tigers, yaks, and leopards.
Tubo. It makes you wonder if that's Tubo Cane, right? The Tubo Cane Kingdom. That's what comes to mind when I think about that. Yeah. Let's see. We're getting there. Just bear with me. And
at the completion of the Samai Monastery, in 779 AD, the 37th Emperor of Tibet, Trisong Detsen, held a ceremony to consecrate the monastery. It was during this ceremony that many of the dancers wore white masks and danced playing hand drums. In later years, these white masks became the faces of the players of Tibetan opera, which was popular in the period in Lhasa. These ancient operas are the origins of the modern Tibetan opera. According to Tibetan manuscripts, the origins of Tibetan masks has close links to primitive Buddhism, Tibetan laws and scripts, and the consecration of the first Tibetan monastery.
Alright, let's see. We don't need to worry about how to make no masks, so let's get down here to,
Masks that depict deities, heroes and comical characters from the Buddhist culture are often described as classical. These include monastery and temple masks used in Buddhist dance ceremonies. The classical Buddhist masks are based on figures from the Buddhist pantheon of gods, including the ferocious faith defenders such as Mahakala. They are often used in the mysterious Cham dance, which invokes the deities and disperses the negative forces.
wait till you get into how they invoke the deity, right? Through dance. Let's see here. And I like how they added they went from being just deities. These are what these masks were represent, to now deities, heroes, and characters.
Village masks usually include elements from the Buddhist traditions, and their defining characteristics are derived from local village myths. The village masks originated in Arunachal Pradesh, in northeast India, and came to Tibet later in the history of Buddhist masks. These masks normally depict local mythical characters, such as Laki, a local demon from the borders of Tibet and Nepal. The masks often bear a resemblance to the Mediterranean, Gorgon, features, and are often used in local morality dramas and operas.
See, so how could it, in the beginning, was about warding off evil spirits and being a protector shield with superpowers, and now all of a sudden it's a deities and heroes and characters to, well, now down here most of them resemble the mythical characters, such as a Laka, a local demon. How is that a deity that's there to protect you from anything. Some resembling the Gorgonoth of the Mediterranean, right? You know, that's Medusa, the head with all the snakes, right? How would people way over here next to, near China, come up with a creature that's supposed to be in Greek mythology way over there? Unless the Greeks already knew about this over here, right? Right? Like I said earlier, that King Ganushka of the Kushan Empire, they use the word Greeks and Japanese interchangeable. I'm not saying the Japanese are them. I'm saying I can't figure out who's who because I don't spend enough time looking into it. They said the Greeks led Kushan and his empire through I won't repeat it, but this right down here contradicts everything it just said way up there. So what are you doing? Masking yourself as a demon to ward off other demons. Let's see here. This reminds me of stuff down in Mexico, right? They're dead and all that.
Primitive, shamanic masks make up the third category of masks, and their origins largely unknown. These shamanic masks were normally made of wood, and can be found as far abroad as Sumatra, Timor, and Siberia. The main reason for the mystery that surrounds them is the remoteness of their geographic origins. While it is clear that these masks originated in the higher reaches of the Himalayas, an exact period of origin is unclear. These masks, which were born from shamanism, extended into the areas of western Tibet among the village folk, and were soon absorbed into the higher Buddhist traditions.
So you're saying they weren't a part of the true Buddhist traditions, but someone that's practicing Buddhism said, hey, that's a good idea to do that over there. Bring the dance of Cham into this religion. See? Brought them from the higher regions of the Himalayas. That's interesting. Here we go.
Every year in Tibet, the monasteries hold a sacred festival, during which they perform 1,300-year-old mystic dances. These dances are known as Cham, and are held to transform the evil for the benefit of the world. Monks will meditate for days or weeks before the festivals, visualizing and invoking the spirits of the deities. Then they will perform elaborate dances posing as the deities they visualized. The dances include the performance of ancient movements and the repetition of sacred mantras that are designed to draw the evil from the world.
Okay, then. See? So this is what the evil deity they imagine? And then they dress up as this? So, in a way, I feel like I was
This evil is drawn and held in an effigy of a human body made of soft clay or dough. As the ceremonial dance reaches its climax, the dance master, known as the chamspan, cuts the effigy open and draws the evil into his own body, in order to show it peace and the path to enlightenment and liberation.
Okay. Okay. When man is so easily corruptible, you're gonna take something that's that doesn't make any sense.
The masks are used in the dance to show the face of evil, and the images of the wrathful deities show the people that evil comes from within. Evil in the mind is created by ignorance, anger, desire, jealousy, and ego, and these cover the mind as the clouds cover the sun. Cham is designed to remove the ego from the mind of evil to allow it to see the path to transformation more clearly.
And I think yep, this is the end of it.
Buddhist teachings show that the Buddha showed many different paths to enlightenment and liberation, so people who understood things differently could all understand. In Cham, the masks of the deities take on several forms, and while they may appear wrathful on the outside, it is believed that the deities are filled with inner love and compassion for all beings. Buddhists believe that people can recognize the gods, which they will meet after death, through Cham. Cham will show them which gods they can trust in the afterlife to help them find a rebirth into a good life.
So, let me stop here. And that's what I wanted to bring up. So, this again. This is where we're gonna have to go back to, because I think, yeah.
Nemi had with him his wife Matcha and his sons Starn, Iarbwanel Fade, Ainan and Firgus Leithdirg, of the Red Side. They came in 34 ships each containing 30 people and began their settlement. They prospered but were not left in peace, being preyed upon by the Fomorians, sea warriors of the race of Cham, Ham, son of Noah. The first adventurers that arrived in Ireland after the flood were Partholon and his colony. Some write that he found it planted with inhabitants, but they came here soon after him. Our historians call them fomhorai, or, as we call them in English, fomorians. Which name the antiquarians give to all those foreign invaders, who had made descents into Ireland, in opposition to the first inhabitants. And they tell us they were all the offspring of Cham, Ham, from Africa, except the Fomorians, our first colonists, to who they assign no other settlement or origin than Ireland.